Thank you, Sandra, and thank you, Tim. Thank you, everybody here at Quail Ridge Books for hosting us tonight. I'd like to welcome you all to our monthly series, and thank you for coming. My name is Stacy Cochran. As most of you know, I'm the organizer for the Raleigh Right to Publish group. It's about 1,000 member strong writers group who we have a bunch of stuff going on every month. A little bit about our panelists. At my far left here, your far right, we have Linda Rohrbough.
Hi, fan club. Thank you.
Linda has been writing professionally since 1989 and has more than 5,000 articles and 7 books to her credit. Wow. She's received awards in both fiction and nonfiction, including 3 national awards. Her most recent book, Weight Loss Surgery with the Adjustable Gastric Band, which is the book that we have here, co-authored with Robert Sewell, MD, was published by Da Capo Lifelong Books. Linda has several how-to articles on the NC Writers Network website. Visit her website at lindarohrbough.com. So that's Linda, and I'm reading this actually from the North Carolina Writers Network newsletter, so very good. You're here. Linda, would you like to read a little bit from your book?
Yeah, do we have it?
I have a copy here.
I should have brought my copy in. Thank you.
That's the big question.
And let's go ahead and get the cards coming up. Is this it? These are the only questions? Okay.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, feel free to pass them on up.
You know, this book, I'm the first one of Dr. Sewell's early patients, and I weighed more than 350 pounds at one point. I don't know what my top weight was. Pretty close probably to 400. I would have never sat in this chair. I know I would have broken it, assuming I could even get into it. I was wearing the biggest size Lane Bryant made, you know, that kind of thing. And I remember when I met Dr. Sewell, he said, "This isn't your fault." You know, I didn't believe him because I really thought that obesity was a character defect and probably a little bit of a product of being a writer because we sit, right, and that sort of thing. So, but then one day, about 2 years out, I was 2 years out with the band, I was doing really well, and a friend of mine who's also a good friend of Dr. Sewell's brought me into Dr. Sewell's office with all my computer books because Dr. Sewell's network wasn't working. His staff was having to re-enter data 4 and 5 times. And she said, "Linda can help you with your network and help you get your data set up and get your server right." And he looked at that stack of books on the table and he said, "Do you want to write a book together?" So,
fantastic.
You know, and I don't know about you guys, but as a professional writer, I probably get 3 or 4 offers a month of people who come to me and go, "We want to write a book," or "Here's what I love. Sure. I have an idea. You write it and we'll split it."
The money.
You ever hear that? Yeah. Never heard that before. So you get those deals. But Dr. Sewell I actually took up on because he said to me, he said, obesity is a disease and it's killing people. Cancer is related to obesity, although most people when they get cancer stop worrying about their obesity and worry about the cancer. And I'm convinced that the cancer treatments the cancer treatments work on cancer because people get so sick, they get so thin. Have you seen people with cancer treatments? They look terrible. I had a couple of lumps in my thyroid glands, and 2 on each gland. And recently my endocrinologist scanned those glands, and I've lost probably another 13 pounds this year alone moving to Raleigh because I was living in Dallas, and Dallas all you do is shop and eat. So in Raleigh, there are other things to do. And so I lost another 13 pounds, and she scanned those thyroid glands and said, "Linda, the lumps are gone. All those precancerous lumps we were worried about are gone." And she said, "You know, I think there really is something to this obesity in connection with cancer." And she said, "You know, the National Center for Disease Control, who's studying obesity and says obesity is the biggest problem in our country, has their cancer division is starting to exclusively study obesity, the links between obesity and cancer." So Dr. Sewell and I sat down. Now, Dr. Sewell is a doctor. You ever try to talk to your doctor? You know, I mean, it's usually pretty one-sided. He tells you what to do and you lie to him and you do it or not, you know, but I mean, you know, it's real funny too. They expect everybody to lie. It's like, what is House? You know, everybody lies. These guys really think that. So when he tells me something, he doesn't, I don't lie to him, so he doesn't always believe me. But we sat down to do this book, and he said, "Here's what I want to do, and here's, you know, how I want to do it." And I said, "That won't work. Here's what we need to do." And we fought like we were married. his staff would kind of listen down the hall to us fighting over how we were going to do this book, you know. So anyway, my deal, it took him 3 years. Doc wrote all the parts that are the medical parts. I wrote the case studies, the dietitian interviews, the psychologist interviews, all that stuff. The theme of this book is dieting doesn't work. And I wanted the stories, people's stories, you know, what they went through, how they suffered with this disease that essentially everybody views as a character defect. So, and Dr. Sewell, he didn't want the stories. So we came in over on the book when we finally got done after 3 years. And he said, they're going to cut your case studies. You watch. They're going to cut them. We turned it, they said, turn it in the way it is. We were 50% over in the manuscript. Turn it in the way it is. Do you know the publisher didn't cut one of my case studies? Not a single word. But they cut a whole bunch of his drawings. So that's how it went down. But for example, with this book, Dr. Sewell really believes that he's been put on this planet to help solve the problem of obesity, and I am a partner with him to help solve that problem. And so I dedicated 3 years of my life, and he did too, to getting this book out there. I think that's why I say go find out what you can contribute. Because if you can figure out where you can plug in, other people are going to have the same problem, and then you can help solve a problem for somebody. I think you're doing that no matter what you're writing, though. And I think that's important to keep in mind. How am I contributing? What am I solving? What do I have to say? Because everybody has something to say that's important.
I think the comment about Francine would be good, too.
Go ahead.
Is that all right? Okay. And you're helping me to springboard off of something here also. So thank you. And also, I would like to take a minute to say that as writers begin to share very personal things, it's a very difficult thing to do. And I would like to applaud
it's scary.
you. Yeah, I would like to applaud you for sharing your story and for also your success story. And I just want to say yay.
Thank you. You know, it's not a very well-kept secret. Well, in my story, you know, at one point I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "You know, you're overweight." And I went, "Oh, what am I going to tell my family, my friends?" You know? I mean, come on. You know, the stuff people say to you. You can read it in my story when you get that far. But thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But